My name is Inelia Benz. I was born in Inelia del Pilar Ávila, and I'm here for the first time, not just on this planet, but as a singularity, a single person with a body and subtle bodies and everything else. My job is to raise the level of vibration of the planet, which is all of your jobs too, that's why you're here. And we do it, all of us, in our own particular special way. Sometimes it's just by being here, by existing on this planet, by staying alive long enough, we channel that energy and we ground it here on the planet. Because I was born knowing that I had to raise the level of vibration of the planet. But I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know how one does that. I didn't even know the vocabulary saying raise the level of vibration of the planet. As a child, I just knew you had to buzz better. It was too dense, you know. And I kept, like, when I used to talk to people, adults, some of them would interpret it one way, or some of them would interpret it another way. And my parents were physics professors at university, so they had, you know. And apart from that, they were socialists, so there was like, religion was the opium of the masses, you know, so don't speak spirituality at home. But I didn't even know that that was spirituality. I didn't know what it was because I didn't have that vocabulary. My life was actually what one would consider a very difficult, hard life. But since I was born, there was a lot of pain, physical, emotional, psychological, and then went into a social scale when there was a military coup in Chile, right wing, paid by the CIA, and others, et al. And my family, because they were socialists, because they were in the government, very active socially and locally as well, was destroyed. My parents were taken and tortured, we were taken. Suffering basically is different to pain. Pain I understand. Physical pain I gave birth 4 times, so I know about physical pain. Emotional pain, yes, when we lose somebody, our bodies really, really feel it, right? It's like extreme physical pain, emotional pain. Those pain is what part of this planetary existence. But suffering is the holding on to pain way past you time, right? It's the day's over. And we keep it, you know? And we carry it with us. It's, and that's what I couldn't understand. And it's like, I would see my mom, for example, and she suffered from a deep depression for about 10 years after what was done to her. And I just could not understand why she held on to that. It happened years ago, and I couldn't understand why she kept it with her, you know? And that's suffering. And that's part of the negative programming that we are taught here on the planet in order to keep us at a low vibrational level. That suffering is good for us. It isn't, right? So we process suffering. Pain, yeah, pain is a red flag. When something hurts, you look at it, right? It's a way for life, for your body, for everything to let us know, hold on a minute, you've got to look at this, right? So that's pain. In August, I wrote something about the shift having occurred already, and it has. The shift is already in place, right? There's like the reality separation is, and this new paradigm is all about the releasing of thinking that the world is a solid place, releasing thinking that we're stuck with our destiny, or with what decisions we've taken, or with the reality that we have or we're experiencing. Releasing all that, and then taking in tools and ways and doing things on the next level. The next level is basically manifesting what you want, having the life that you want, having the energies around you that you want, that you feel good with, and says, well, you know, and I get this resistance saying, well, what about learning through our mistakes and through our pain? That's over, right? We've had thousands of years of those lessons, right? And now it's time for the next grade, basically. We move on to a different class, so we're going to have a different experience. This different experience is where we decide what our reality is. And then I get the resistance saying, well, what if my neighbor does a reality that I don't like, you know? And that's the whole thing, you see, because that's how we put the brakes on ourselves and others. We don't want others to impose on us. We don't want to be living somebody else's reality. But guess what? That's what we've been doing for thousands of years. Because this is not something new. It's just a stage that we're moving into or becoming aware of. But we've been doing it. How have we been doing it? By agreeing that this world was solid, by agreeing that we were powerless, by agreeing that we would live reality as is dictated by others. And those others that knew how the game worked used it to manipulate us and to make the world where they kind of sat on top of the world. They were into power over others. So, and one of their biggest fear is that if everybody on the planet realizes that they're a completely, extremely powerful, eternal being, there's going to be chaos. There's going to be all sorts of things happening on the planet. But chaos for whom, right? And so this is the stage that we're at. This is what we're moving into. This is where we're at, actually. And if I've had lots and lots of emails from people saying, how do I know if I made it? How do I know what side of the shift I'm on? How do I know if I am aware or I'm like my vibration's high enough? It says, well, if you're afraid, that means you have to process that fear. That's the fastest way to raise your vibration level, fastest way to move into your power, to process your fear of what others irrealities might do to you, fear of not making it, fear of being in the wrong side of the shift, fear of not being good enough, right? And once we process those fears, then that goes away. And how do you measure it? You think of something and it just pops into your life. You know, it's like, and then, oh, you have to be careful what you think of. That's another thing, I should process that one, right? So we're all here to be human. We're all here to do this work. And part of once we realize that and we release all fears around it, or how I'm going to do it, or what am I supposed to be doing, or I'll do it once I, retire, or I'll do it when I have more time. All those things go away, yeah? They go away. You just start being. And how do we do it? We're just ourselves. We're just ourselves. It's like we're moving to a less dense existence at a planetary level. We're going to be experimenting, each of us, making things happen, making hearts out of clouds, It's at that level, it's going to be, and it is, at that level. And October, and in particular in this country, in America, it's been flagged as a date where there's going to be attempts to stop something happening, right? What's coming is, and I don't know how many of you got the mailing, but I sent the information with a link about some work that some Mayan elders are doing across America. And they're going to be carrying the 13 crystal skulls, and they're going to do very sacred activations on different parts of America, and they're going to cross the entire America from coast to coast. And why are they doing that? Why in America? Because this is a really special place. The energy in this country is like a pioneer. It's like where things are born. Good things and bad things. And the powers that were have been using this energy to spread a lot of stuff around the planet that's not good for the collective, it's not good for the countries. And they've used the same kind of methods to spread a type of resistance and even hate towards America and Americans, right? Even I was brought up that way as well after the coup in Chile, because they didn't make it like secret, and they didn't make a secret out of the fact that they had paid for it, the government, the elite. and they put an American name America all over it. The United States of America, I should say. And this happens throughout the world. When I was going to Ecuador recently, my husband said, "Oh, you should have brought your Irish passport as well, because if the plane gets hijacked or you get stopped in the mountains, you can say, I'm Irish." And so yeah, and why is this happening? Why are we doing this? It's because this collective, us, here, on this moment in time, space, is going to open the doors for the entire planet. And it's happening this month. And the thing about October, the Mayan calendars, one of the stages is like the cycle, isn't it? October 28th, is it? 28th. And that resonated with me a lot more than 2012 for me. It's like, that's going to be the afterwork, right? And it's the start of a new phase, the really kicking in of that phase. Now the powers that were want to stop it. They can't. Of course they can't. Gosh, this is like a universal thing. You know, the planets aligning through the galaxy. They're part of the universe, it's really high vibration. And they can't stop it. You know, a few earthquakes here, they want to sink LA or something, that's what I was told. When I was in Ecuador, someone said, you can't go back to California, they're going to sink LA. And I thought, I'll buy a surfboard. Oh wow, why would I live where the action is, right? And that's all what it is. You know, it's like we, by being here, we're stabilizing this place. We're stabilizing California, we're stabilizing the United States of America, where the Mayan elders decided was the place where this awakening was going to be born. Okay? And this is for a reason. Like the New Age movement was born here, right? The internet was born here. Many things were born here. Alternative healing. It's like these things have existed, obviously existed throughout our history as a species. And places like India and China and other places have had technology, like body technologies, meditations, movements and stuff, that can activate many things and all these different abilities that a human person can do forever. But it was in California that it actually burst into the collective and started spreading out. And they've tried to hijack it, and they have hijacked it many, many times. And but they can't do it this time, right? We're all here. And we're going to be doing a meditation. I planned for half an hour. It might be like less, or it might be, I don't think it'll be more. Where we're going to do a little exercise that you might be familiar with. It's about cleaning the collective, right? Visualizing a clean collective. What does that mean? Imagine, well, we'll do the meditation, right? But it's going to be basically, if you could, if fear didn't exist on the planet, what sort of planet would it be, right? Yeah? And if you think about it, it's kind of cool. It's when we use us as conduits, we're going to be throwing a huge boulder into the collective pond. So it's not still in the ocean, it's like a boulder in a little pond. Cool. And we're going to already participating in stabilizing the energies and disagreeing with anything going into the ocean, right? Disagreeing with chaos, disagreeing with war, disagreeing with natural disasters, and agreeing with peace and stability and the ability, the safe environment where us as individuals and our loved ones can express their deepest dreams. You know? Shall we do that?
Yeah.
Cool. All right.